and gents, Ronnie here from Speedlab once again with Victor's car on the dyno. If you guys take a close look, you guys will see a couple things have changed. A couple things being the intercooler is now a race core from STM, so it's a 5-inch core. It's a Garrett core. Essentially the biggest intercooler they offer. We could opt for like a 6-inch ETS front mount, but it's really at this point this is more than sufficient for what we're trying to do. The second thing you guys will notice is the exhaust up pipe is actually a lot smaller than it used to be, and that's because now we ditched that Apex turbo that wasn't working for us and we went to Precision 7275 next gen turbocharger. On paper I believe the next gen is rated for 1380 horsepower. You know, these PTE turbos are starting to make some crazy power. We're obviously not going to make that sort of numbers. We would really like to see a 12 on our dyno. We've had 1,000 plus horse evos that we've built here, but we've never had 1,200 plus wheel horse evos. So, well, it's super exciting because again, that's a lot of power to be made on a 4-cylinder. And again, it is one of our aluminum rod motors. We just did a fresh oil change. I believe we spoke about it briefly in the other video, but just a quick rundown. S3 camshafts, Speedlab stage 3 cylinder head, which is a CNC ported cylinder head, in conjunction with our friends at Arlington Machine that did the machine work on the block. We did the assembly. It's got one of our O-ring packages on the cylinder head, so it's still using an EVO 9 head gasket. The block is half filled, so it's not full concrete filled, it's just half filled to retain the structural integrity of the block as far as where the mains are. And that kind of helps us with our clearancing too, because if the crank flex is just enough, you know, it can take up that, you know, little bit of clearance and cause some really catastrophic issues at you know, under high stress. As far as the connecting rods go, they're solid beam R&R aluminum rods, of course. 156 millimeter rods. It's a 2.0 long rod, 9.5-to-1 compression. Cali's billet crankshaft, full counterweighted. As far as the electronics go, it's on a Haltech Elite 2500. We got an I/O expander for all the inputs and outputs that we're going to be adding. We got a drive-by-wire setup with a Bosch 82 millimeter throttle body, Magnus 5-liter plenum, V5 intake manifold, ID 2600s. It is on E90, which is Ignite Red 114 octane. We have the Haltech coils, the IJN1As, dual blow-off setup just because we could. A TCA8 that's set up for 4 channels, of course, you know, to measure EGTs and correct based on fueling demands and ignition demands. PPG dog box, 431 final, billet output tube, built ACDT case, built rear diff, stock axles. He wanted to drag the car, but I think it's gonna end up becoming a serious roll car in North Carolina. Yeah, this car's going back to North Carolina. So that being said, what we're gonna do is we're gonna hook up the dyno. I mean, finish hooking up the dyno and then turning it down to the gate, because again, it's a new turbocharger. Dialing in the, you know, part throttle stuff with the fuel table, and then start making some rips. So with this manifold design, it actually, with the 24 pound of spring, it was creeping up to 36-37 pound of spring. So that's like the lowest amount of boost we can run, which again, thank God for ethanol, right? Yeah, we'll do that and then we'll see how much more we can get out of it. And I'm really curious to see what it actually makes on the gate, because it was making like 580 on the Apex turbo on the gate at 37 psi. So I have a feeling it's gonna make like a couple hundred more horsepower on the
I'm scared, bro. I'm scared.
This thing's gonna be nasty, man. I know for a fact it's gonna make power. These PTs don't fuck around. So
This thing is ridiculously loud. Oh my goodness. Give me that.
So we're trying to have the dyno hold the load and it's not doing so. We've had this problem before, especially if you don't have torque tubes connected, which we usually don't on all-wheel drive cars. Not really necessary unless they make stupid torque. from vibrations, this part is called the thyristor, and this is in the box that basically controls this eddy current retarder, and they just short from the inside. So I've purchased a couple. This has happened a couple times, but you know, anytime I hit up mainline, Todd is nice enough to send me a couple just to have on hand. Fortunately, I have a bunch of them here, so this doesn't really happen often. I would say like 50 cars ago maybe this happened, so not really a big deal. Just wasn't holding load, so I wasn't able to steady state the car and like actually do a ramp. And we have, of course, turned off the dynamometer because it's a lot of voltage to be fucking with. High voltage, keep out. Not me.
The gods don't want this car to be complete, brother.
Poor Victor.
Certified dyno technician.
Yeah, I am at this point. And then if you look, this is a circuit breaker. This circuit breaker would be popped off. So if I were to turn this on right now without changing that thyristor and turn the dyno on, this would trip right away.
Oh boy.
All right, so officially the highest horsepower Evo on the dyno. So that was a peak of like 52-ish PSI, tapering to about 50. So we can call it 50 PSI up top. And yeah, 1078 at 50 pounds. Not bad at all, not bad at all. That next gen turbo really makes some steam. If we did a 4-port, we could potentially push some more boost through it and make 1100. If this thing cools down all the way, honestly, it'll make 1100. It's like 20 more horsepower. I could play with timing a little bit, but it's really not worth it for that extra, you know, little power. We can call this 1100 because that's what it is to the crank.
Or we can round it up to like 1500.
We could do that. So we don't have a dry sump on this, but we do have a Frontline Fab billet oil pump, G-rotor oil pump. We're revving this thing to 10 grand. So
10,000 RPM.
sounds like a little bike engine.
Dude, it's insane from outside.
Yeah, I see the flames it shoots.
You see the flames from in here, huh?
Oh yeah, I feel it. It's just so violent. No matter how many times you build one of these motors, when it's revving that high and like with that much boost, you're always like concerned a little. Another thing that we did with this particular car is we actually incorporated individual EGTs, and you guys can see how consistent they are. This is 4 EGTs lined up. And it's nice because, like, for instance, cylinder 3 wanted a little bit more fuel to get it down about 70 degrees Fahrenheit. So we did that, and now we're within literally 20 degrees, all 4 cylinders within 20 degrees of one another. So that's perfect. That's where we want to be. The Apex Turbo just wasn't working, but the next gen stuff, we know it works. We know our dyno doesn't read as high as a dyno jet does, so this car would probably make like 1050 on a dyno jet, or like on a cold day, because there's a correction factor being applied, but that's not for the actual air that's outside. So crisp air, all that stuff, like I actually have to turn down the boost control numbers whenever we take it on the street, so we can get, you know, proper boost, so it doesn't, you know, overboost. Because it will in the mid-range, you know, hit like 60 something PSI, and we have a 5 bar on this, so we can only, our resolution is up to 58 PSI. Past that, I don't really trust it. The next thing left is finishing up all this wiring, basically tucking everything away. If you want to show them that rat's nest over there, that's got our SPL mount, of course, but you know, we still have to wire everything and like make it look nice, which we can do. Another thing is Victor actually got an IC7, so we're gonna wire everything in, including the fuel gauge, which is a pain in the ass for anyone that's owned an Evo and done this. They know it's a pain in the ass. There's a couple small part throttle stuff that I want to dial in because he will be driving this thing on the street, and other than that, it's ready to go. We're gonna set up launch, you know, rolling launch control, all that stuff, and then I guess the next video would be testing everything out in Mexico because I still have to wire the strain gauge in and all that good stuff. So there's gonna be another video. Victor wants me to do like 60 to 130 hits, and I'm like, I don't know.
I'm down.
Maybe
I'll join you.
Yeah, I know you will. So maybe we'll make a video out of it before the car gets shipped back. But I don't think there's any more reasons to do polls. I mean, we've probably, me and Steve, I almost called you Steve, bro. You don't look like a fucking Steve, dog. I don't even know a Steve. Me and Chris were talking, and he's like, how many polls do you think we've had on the dyno so far, like with this car? It has to be over 100. It has to be over 100.
I've seen a lot of polls with this car, brother.
Yeah, and every single time it's in 10 grand. Like every single poll we've done, aside from, you know, the first initial wastegate hits where you're trying to kind of build the map out to, you know, make sure your fueling is right, your timing's right. But yeah, we're literally revving this thing to 10 grand. This reminds me of my red one, remember?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that thing was, we were revving that thing to like 10.5.
But pretty similar, honestly, to this.
Yeah, pretty similar. Yeah, I would say so.
I've heard rumors going around town that you've purchased a new vehicle.
It's gonna be in the next video. We already have parts outside.
I swear, it's like right there, bro.
I'll give you guys a little hint. I have Boost Logic parts for it, so.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. It's actually a car that I've built the motor on beforehand, about 3 years ago. And I ended up purchasing it. So many cool shit coming up with that. And we're tapping into yet another platform, even though we have a Yaris, right? I mean,
yeah.
Yaris. We have a Corolla right there with the subframe off. That thing is like literally ready to go back together. Actually, Tony just got the axle nuts back.
Hey, Tony.
Yeah, super excited. There's so much going on around here between customer cars and our own projects. We're super busy, blessed. Thank you guys all for following the builds and being supportive. The videos are getting more views, and I appreciate all you guys that I appreciate the guys that hit the bell notification. That's the only guys that I appreciate, and the subscriber.
What about the filmer and editor?
He's all right. Yeah, I appreciate you a little too, man.
Thanks, man.
I think we're pretty much done. There's nothing really else to talk about. Like I said, I have to wire up the IC7. That's pretty self-explanatory. And there's a couple videos on YouTube of Evo guys, you know, doing them. And there's schematics and stuff on the Evo M forums that you guys can follow. Super easy. It's just kind of a pain in the ass when you're trying to dial in the actual fuel gauge. So I'll get it in the ballpark for him. He's always gonna have fuel in this car. So Victor, just be careful, man. Don't run this thing dry. And we have fail safes on the Haltech, so if it leans out, that'll cut. Who cares, you know? It's actually getting warm, so you guys should have a beer.
Absolutely.
You guys should actually have a beer. So go do that, and then yeah, let me know what beer you had today in the comment section below. That being said, thank you guys for watching, and we see you guys in the next one.